and I need to step off real quick to get this book to read this reference, but I'll be right back with government secrets.
You mean I have to entertain the people alone?
Do something. Take your shirt off.
Oh, dear God. Right now I'm like Garth in Wayne's World. Wayne. All right, folks, now that Graham's gone, we can finally talk about him. All right, what's up with this? With his T-shirts, what's going on there? Like, why can't he dress up for the podcast? That's what I want to know. You know, why can't he put on a little show, put on a little monocle, top hat? You know, I mean, I don't do much, but it's not, it's not a T-shirt. I did comb my hair for this. I didn't comb my hair, but I'm just saying, I think he should step it up better than I have, is what I'm saying.
You're saying my T-shirt isn't good enough? I should wear a collared shirt? I comb my hair.
I just want a bow tie with the T-shirt is what I want.
Oh, all right. Now that I can do. Yeah. I can absolutely do a bow tie with the T-shirt.
Which seems like a strippergram or something.
Yes. That's Government Secrets also does strippergram services. That's how we're going to monetize this show. Is Lee and Graham
when things really get rough, we'll be like, we give you government secrets and strippergrams.
Yeah, that's just when we're like, folks, go to our Patreon page for the Government Secrets strippergram tier. So, government secrets.
It's very revealing. All right, now that we have the catchphrase. As long as we have a catchphrase, we got to do it. That's the rule.
We need more catchphrases. Now it's government secrets segment number 3. So I started reading because a fan sent it to me, A People's History of the United States by Howard Zinn, which is fun, light reading. It is like a romance novel.
It is an excellent book, but not one of the lighter ones. You should, you do like a chapter of Harry Potter, chapter of People's History.
Yeah, you gotta. This isn't a sit and just bang it out book. This is a like, oh, I need to read, Hello Kitty envelopes.
You're like, oh, that's. I did not know that many people were massacred when they were fighting to have children not work in the workplace. This is interesting, and I am up and ready to go. Yeah,
what a great way. I'm going to start my day after learning that everything I was told as a child was a bold-faced lie, just a craven falsehood.
By the way, another great book, which is you almost just said the title. It's called Lies My Teacher Told Me.
Yes,
it's really good.
So one of them is the very first chapter, Columbus, the Indians, and Human Progress. So we were talking about, people like Jeff Bezos.
Hold on, you're not gonna say anything negative about Columbus, are you? You're making me nervous. You're gonna knock down my hero here.
After reading the first page of this book, I'm like, we need to find every Columbus statue ever even thought, like drawings of Columbus statues, and set them on fire.
Dude, I know, it blew my mind too. The difference with Columbus and a lot of these guys is it's his own fucking journals that talk about they didn't bring me enough gold, so I chopped off their noses and hands and shit. Like, it's his own journals.
He's evil, like pure evil. Like, you shouldn't want this. If you're a direct descendant of him, you shouldn't want these statues because they're going to emanate evil, like some sort of Raiders of the Lost Ark thing. Like, it's going. So this is from his journal, right? This is. They landed on the Bahama Islands. The Arawaks were much like
which he knew was India.
Yes, much like the Indians on the mainland.
What a smart dude also, Yes. He was just like, we have found India.
Yeah. We're going to just go west and this must be China. No, dummy. And so European and this was said about this tribe over and over and again by Europeans, their hospitality and their belief in sharing. All right. This is from his journal. This isn't like, oh, you hippies are rewriting history. No, we're just finally reading his evil journal. He writes, this is when they first landed, right? The first time he lands, the first time he meets other people outside of Europe, right? They bought us parrots and bales of cotton and spears.
Brought, right?
Yeah, they brought. They didn't buy. Yeah, they brought us.
Like, bought from who?
They FedExed.
There were some shops, small shops. It was like a Forever 21. It was just some, Wings. Have you seen Wings? They always have the Wings on the beach.
There was Hot Topic. There was one of those like glamour shots where you could get fancy headshots. It was fun. There was one of those bagel places. It was really good. They brought as parrots and bales of cotton and spears and many other things, which they exchanged for the glass beads and hawk's bells. They willingly traded everything they owned. They were well built with good bodies and handsome features. They do not bear arms and do not know them, for I showed a sword and they took it by the edge and cut themselves out of ignorance. Well, you're cool, by the way, just for showing them and letting them doing that.
And I laughed and laughed and laughed.
Hey, when someone you've never seen a gun? Oh, look down the barrel and squeeze the trigger and a surprise will happen. They have no iron. Their spears are made of cane. They would make fine servants. With 50 men, we could subjugate them all and make them do whatever we want. So let me see if I got this correct, Chris.
Incredible.
You meet these people that are nothing but kind and generous and will share with you everything they want. They see strangers on a boat outside their harbor. They don't act in fear. They don't attack you. They come with presents and joy. And the first thing you think is, man, I could rule these people in a heartbeat. You're evil. And your statue needs to be turned into chalk, right? That is colored, and let kids paint messages of hope on the sidewalk. That's what needs to happen. This is the first fucking page, man. And you go further into this, and it's just like, yeah. And his whole purpose was to get
like
gold.
Caligula's book of happy times. Yeah. It's really not pretty.
And the whole European, go subjugate, go get slave, go get they were just...
Well, and I think they figured out basically that they could fill the hold of the ship with as many as they could, and about half would survive the trip, and that was great. And so they'd take the remaining half and, put them into slavery in Europe and show them off as like, look at these bizarre humans we found. But it was like they just knew half were going to die in the trip, not to mention the torture of whatever, 3 months, was it 3 months in the hold of a ship? I don't know what it was, but months. Besides just the torture, they knew half were going to die. And they were just like, yeah, so half die, and then we get the other half. It's great.
Yeah. And he just sold it. He sold it to the King of Spain. I'm going to go get gold and resources and spices. That's what I'm going to get. And he's like, and they would be like tortured and captured. And then eventually some of these tribes fought back, and it's like, oh, see, they're rebelling. We got to quell these savages. It's like, no, asshole, you started this whole problem. It's like, and here we are to connect it to today. It's like, we're having an anti-police brutality peaceful protest. So what do the cops do? Show up in riot gear, automatic weapons, and ready to go. They want to start a fight. And then the news always says, well, they started it. No, fuck sticks. You did. And you've been starting this shit since 1492 in this country.
And that's a good point. Most of what cops do, they act as the fist of the fascist state. And I feel like what went on in Portland, Oregon, or it continues to, I don't know, is like, it's more obvious, it's more overt that they are the fist of the fascist state than normal. Normally, you see them standing on the corners and nothing's really happening and you don't really think about it, but they are there in case they need to be like activated as the fist of the fascist state. Mm-hmm. It's exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know what and this is like, can you imagine like, I went to this area, I'd never been to the Deep South, and I went to the Deep South, and this Southern hospitality was alive and well. And, Graham, you want some sweet tea? And let me come in and let's visit for a while. And I went, wow, I could take advantage of these hillbillies easy. They're so dumb. I could trick them. I'll take their pickup trucks. I'll just tell them, oh, yeah, it's freedom. Jesus wants you to give me your truck. And he did. Like, it's just evil. I
could subjugate this whole town in a matter of hours. Me and my comedian comrades.
I could get these hillbillies at my knees with just some seasoned dick jokes. Like, what kind of pure evil? And again, that's Columbus. Like, that's the whole mentality. Not I want to
know.
discover
I
new
know.
lands.
And I think part of where my anger about all this came was like when I first started, looking into this stuff, reading this stuff, kind of educating myself after school, was like, how dare everybody, these fucking teachers, my, parents. I mean, granted, my parents weren't like sitting over me saying Columbus is wonderful, but still, it's like, how dare the like whole system of your upbringing rally around these ridiculous lies. I mean, not just acting like Columbus was a great guy, but also acting like, I remember we were told he discovered the earth was round. No, he fucking didn't. They knew for 2,000 years there were various fucking, mathematicians and scientists who knew the earth was round. He just or the idea that he discovered America. It's like, no, and I can't remember if it was in that book. I think it was in Lies My Teacher Told Me. They had this great line. He had this great line where he goes, Columbus wasn't the first to discover America. In fact, he was the last to discover America. He was, because after him, they kept saying that America had been discovered, but there were a lot of discoverers of America before that. There were, Native Americans. There were various others. The Vikings made it to Canada. Like there were so many other discoverers of America. So it's like, and then he showed up in the fucking Hispaniola and called it India. And you're like, this guy is awful and wrong on all levels.
Yeah. He was just like, oh, and I'll let the men, steal and rape the women and children. I don't care. Okay, go for it. Like, just, you're evil. And then, I also in some of his journals, he was like, he was one of the original sex traffickers. He was taking kids and peddling. I mean, it's in his journal. When I interviewed this one, this gentleman, Matt Barkhausen, was on my show, who's like studied this. He's Native American, and he was talking about how Columbus was like one of the original. He was like an original Epstein. Like, he was just awful.
OG Epstein.
Yeah, OG Epstein. Just like how. Boy, these people are so nice and kind. Oh, that man! All I need is 50 guys to get them. And then another thing that makes me so mad is we were always told, oh, like, Columbus and the settlers came in peace, and some of the Indians were angry and attacked them, and they had to defend them. Always that narrative. No, you guys came and started all of the goddamn problems. It's always the same thing. It's just like unbelievable. And you see like all of this shit from Europe. It all started in Europe. It's imperialism is really just like early stages of capitalism. They needed money and resources. They needed gold and property and cheap labor and spicing and trade routes and all this shit. It was just like, that's all it was, just early capitalism. So Jeff Bezos is just the,
he's like the end point of this fucking spiral to the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to like to the victors write the history, and so the victors in this case were the white people, and they wrote down this history of Columbus being this great man, and but that's not the correct history. That's just like if Epstein, hadn't been suicided and had ended up ruling our society, then the history of who Epstein was would have been quite pretty. He would have been quite the hero if he wrote the history books. Well, Columbus's, descendants wrote the history books.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's actually an excellent point. That's why there isn't this screaming narrative of a global billionaire pedophile sex trafficking class, because they are the victors to a certain extent. I mean, Epstein was like a project manager that got caught, but the reason why we don't see Trump and the Clintons in jumpsuits and the Rothschilds and everybody else is because they run it. They run the show. And it's like,
well, they own the media for the most part. I mean, even Ghislaine Maxwell's father was a media like fucking titan, wasn't he?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He was a media titan, and he was also in Mossad. So it was like,
yeah. So they own the media, and so they're not going to let, and that's how, obviously that's how, the Epstein story stayed out of most of the media until just a few years ago. completely. Granted, there are portions of it that are still kind of blacked out from our media, like the intelligence angle we've talked about. But I mean, the fact that it was blacked out on nearly completely until a couple of years ago is, testifies to the fact that this ruling class owns the media.
Yeah.
Everybody, like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell notification button and the subscribe button, even if you've done it before, because they're unsubscribing, many of you, every day. Watch the ads all the way through. If you click skip ad, I don't get paid. Also, support us at patreon.com/GrahamElwood or rockfin.com/GrahamElwood. Rockfin.com is a blockchain cryptocurrency platform. All my videos are on Rockfin ad-free. Thanks for watching.